Are you familiar with Destiny? Do you know that guy?
Somebody say Destiny?
Yeah, I know of him.
Yeah, so he's a streamer. He'll say stuff like, you know, he'll
everyone.
fight Hasan with equal intensity as he will fight someone like Donald Trump. Because the way he sees it, there's like a far left and there's a far right, and they both hate liberal democracy. 10, 15 years ago, if there was a fact...
Why is... I've said this before watching JREG serious videos. I feel like he has like a good understanding of like the political spheres and scenes and understands. Was that really that hard to say how he figured that out? Or I mean, I just say it, I guess, right? Yeah, both these people oppose liberalism. That's why. Okay, good job.
Fascist or a communist saying, I'm going to overthrow the government. The liberals wouldn't even talk to those people. Like, it's not important. It's not like that poses any real threat. No one believes that. It's outside the Overton window. Now, because the Overton window has sort of drifted to the left and the right.
This is the center-left/right coalition that formed in Germany.
They have to engage
Destiny
with
is so
this, and they have
stupid.
to be like, oh shit, there's a lot of like threats to liberalism right now. We're surrounded
Destiny's
by
based.
enemies
Chat's
on the
gonna
left
get
and the
several.
right. We have no choice but to sort of react to the extremism that we're
Liberals always side with fascists.
seeing in order to create a world where we can kind of go back to normal or whatever. And so it's a lot more conscious. Like before you'd be like, shut up, that's just the way things are. Now you have to justify why why things are the way they are. And actually, I would probably argue that that is a good thing.
Destiny's an Israel supporter.
Like we shouldn't just take for
Yeah, it
granted
doesn't seem
that
bad.
all the ways. Yeah, I mean,
The Nazi sucker base.
we shouldn't take for granted that all the ways that we've been doing
And clearly both extremes are equally bad.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
doing things before are the ways that we should still be doing things. We can't just like wave our hands away and be like, no, there's actually no problems right now. Because there's all kinds of
Oh,
problems.
and they're getting
the
worse.
left and the
I
right-
agree. Yeah.
They're getting worse, and the left and the right are both pointing to very real problems that people are having. And so I think this has been a good development for liberals and centrists. I think that like having to explain the way why the way things are the way they are. Like I think a lot of the reason extremism thrives is because no one explained to them why we do things, and so it just seems like this completely like insane. Like what are we
Arbitrary.
doing? Like this guy. Yeah, it feels very arbitrary. Yeah, and you know, I think that this is a good development, in my opinion, because even if liberal centrism survives the next 15 years, even if we are still, a mostly middle-class, consumer-based society, I think that because there's these threats to liberalism, almost like a virus or something, it's gonna have to fight it off. And
Liberals are showing what they think. Look at the Democratic Party. They are doing nothing while Trump's just wiping his ass with laws. God, these people are so fucking cringe. I wonder and now the thing is, I wonder how cringe chats are going to start to go as Asmongold solidifies his position in Twitch over Hasan.
And it's like the liberalism of 15 years from now is going to have to be different because something has to change. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a big extreme uprising where a bunch of people die, but it might be like, hey, I don't know, like we do a UBI, we do land value tax. There's lots of like radical centrist ideas that might have to emerge.
Yeah,
Maybe we make taxes easier. Like,
Yeah, okay, then I am in this group. Like, very much exactly. Yeah, that's how I see it. So,
Oh, base!
but I just think maybe it's a little hopeful. Maybe I'm being the doomer here, but I find that to be, I think when trend lines start moving in a direction, it's hard to stop it without a bigger event. So, hey, we'll see. But I think I got the fair point. And I think the way you pointed this out was this one made me laugh because I found it to be, it's true. It's like 10, 20 years ago, the most bitter enemy of the center right was the center left, and vice versa. And now they
they're
have
like,
to,
this guy sucks.
they have to like handshake on 90% of things because they're fighting the larger polarization around them. Like someone would be, compared to a Donald Trump, most people would take a Mitt Romney.
Is it going to change that much? Like Hasan will exert control. No, Hasan has no control. I don't think Hasan has any control over Atrioc or any of the people on Atrioc's show, right? None of them share a podcast with him. Ludwig, I think, is bowed out of covering any drama-related stuff. And now sponsors are turning down Hasan showing up at events. So
Why aren't you doing the streamer games? AT&T is part of the sponsors, and AT&T doesn't fuck with me. It is what it is.
Atrioc and the people in his like circle, I guess, or on his show are not the same fleshlights that Ludwig was willing to be for Hasan. So I don't think Hasan really has any levers that he can pull anymore to kind of like rally Twitch people on his side. Like OTK and everybody else, I think, have kind of bailed out of the same like clout scene that Hasan was able to exercise so much control over. Why is Atrioc's chat so cucked then? Well, I think if you weren't far right captured, you kind of got far left captured. And there were just so many weird things. Like if you haven't watched any of my content directly and you've only heard about me from somebody else, you have almost for sure heard the most unhinged shit imaginable. So for like from Nazis, you'll hear that I'm like a race mixing, open borders, cock that wants to destroy the entire United States. Or from red pillars, you'll hear that I hate men and I want women to fucking whatever. It's always like the most unhinged caricature versions of from Hasan people. It's going to be that I'm a fucking neo-Nazi who sucks and fucks his way through Nazis, and it's all like unhinged shit. So if Atrioc's chat I don't think Atrioc covers any of my content directly, so anything that his chat has heard about me is probably going to be unhinged. The only exception to that as of recently is the H3H3 crowd, which I'm going to be honest, feels kind of weird looking at another community and they're not all instantaneously fucking unhinged and hateful. Kind of feels nice to see somebody else attacking Hasan, and it doesn't have to just be me and my community and my rhetoric and my tweets and my everything else all the time, you know? Feels good, man.
Because they're fighting the larger polarization around them. Like someone would be, you know, compared to a Donald Trump, most people would take a Mitt Romney in this group. They would be like, but before they would have bitterly fought Mitt Romney to death. You know, the idea is
exactly.
Yeah.
There's an older clip of Atrioc, but this perfectly sums up exactly what you said. Oh, I remember this a long time ago.
To be honest, I didn't know that much about Destiny. I have had probably the wrong impression of Destiny before this. All I knew about Destiny, but prior to seeing this, was that he did the thing where he refused to not say the N-word. Which is like all that I've known. In my mind,
he's probably heard this either directly from Hasan or through other Hasan fleshlights like Ludwig or anybody else, right?
I thought Destiny was alt-right before this. I swear to God, that's what I thought. I didn't know. I'm out of it. Again, I don't follow politics and American stuff. I don't look at debate lords. I don't know any of this. I thought he was like openly alt-right, but he's not. And I also give credit where credit is due. Some of the arguments he made, specifically about Gen 6 and a couple other things, I found to be very compelling. They actually changed my view slightly. I think they were pretty solid. I think for me, the structure he did, it made sense. Okay, that's it. That's all I know. But overall, I found the debate to be pretty unsatisfying.
I think this clip is older than a year, right? Looks like this might just be reposted, but...
I guess the only thing else I'd say on that is, like, the example I use is my mentor, JJ McCullough, is a conservative. He is a center-right Canadian conservative. When he talks
what
to
are they conservative about in Canada?
Oh, just less taxes and liberals are bad. But it's very, you know, like the Liberal Party and the Conservative Party historically have been very, very close to each other ideologically, right? So it's like, it's not a big deal. But like, yes, he's center-right and he votes conservative, and he talks to Destiny, who's center-left, more like a social democrat type. They like agree on everything because they're not threats to each other anymore. The threats are the edges now. And so that's kind of the example I would sort of use to illustrate that. Yeah, like Mitt Romney and Obama have a lot more in common with each other than you know, AOC and Fuentes. So
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, that tracks. By the way, I don't know if you know this. Maybe you're. I guess I would be
Destiny is not center left. LOL. I know, right? How is he center left?
worried for your content in the future because every one of these political problems is being hashed out and figured out in my chat right now. The Socrateses of the world have debated everything, and I think figured it out. They've all put it together, and there are huge. Socrateses of the world have debated everything, and I think figured it out. They've all.
Oh, that's the guy said Destiny's far left.
All put it together, and there are huge paragraph length typing that no one else cares to read.
Never stop thinking and talking about politics. The more you do, the more it feeds me.
They've really truly solved it. Okay, here is the next one. The next group that you brought up was called the balkanized left, a reference to the Balkan states, which are all fractured and have a ton of infighting. So you've put different content creators' faces on missiles and jets and countries, and they are all just trying to kill each other. And I would love to hear more about this. How is this group doing right now? What's their growth?
Leftist infighting is nothing new. It's kind of like a meme. The characters I have on here, I'm sure you're familiar with Hasan and H3H3.
Yeah. Oh, my understanding is that there's a big holy war between Destiny, Hasan, and H3H3. That is my understanding.
Yes.
Okay.
Look, I don't know anything about Israel-Palestine. I get all my information about that through Hasan H3H3 drama. There's like, there's Hasan Moss and H3 Israel or something. I don't really know. I don't keep up with geopolitics.
No, yeah, it's not nearly as fun. Okay, so that's actually my understanding of this group. I don't even remember exactly what you said in the video. But my understanding of this group is it's a bunch of people who really care about streamer drama and are using geopolitics as a lens to constantly engage in that.
Yep. Where do I have an absolutely true button anywhere? Fuck.
Of course.
That is not really there. Fuck. That is true though.
They don't really care about geopolitical changes. That is a cover for a real deep care about the interpersonal streamer drama of a bunch of people. That is what it feels like to me. Because so much of the discussion is about the personalities of the people.
Right.
Although I will say that is largely because of this guy. Vaush has exited the political fighting reacting sphere basically completely. His Fortress arc was to divorce him entirely from all of this, which he's done successfully, and he streams now to a pretty good sized audience. I think anywhere from 5 to 10k viewers. And anytime I look, I don't know if he's live now. Okay, maybe he's not live now, but yeah, I think he does pretty good. He just doesn't associate with anybody, which is fine. It works for him. And then again, when Ethan's content nuke was made about Hasan, it was basically all focused on political views. I'm trying to think if there's anything personal in that. I don't know if he had included anything personal yet. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, it was all about Hasan's unhinged personal views. Generally, my attacks about Hasan are all his unhinged personal views. Hasan is the one who's obsessed with amplifying the CPS calls on Ethan, or amplifying now CPS calls, I guess, for my kid, or these unhinged, weird, creepy, perverted, pathetic personal attacks on either Ethan or me, or the family members or people around us.
It's very strange. It's like if you opened up a gossip magazine and then on page 7 there was like a horrible conflict.
You get the CPS streaming it? Yeah, they're retweeting, calling for the CPS stuff. I saw that I don't know how normal this is. I feel like most of the not safe for work people that I know on Twitter, they all have like safe for work accounts. You remember that cringy weirdo Merrick? She was like retweeting my son saying like, oh, this kid is a Nazi from her porn account. Isn't that kind of weird? I feel like usually those worlds, they don't cross as much, but I don't know. Maybe she's like into the pedophile market now or something. I feel like that's really strange.
Like there were tens of thousands of people being killed. Yeah, and it's like, this is content, why is this? But like, you know, and they're aware of this. And also on the more principled left, you'll have a lot of people who are like, I am using the drama slop content to inform people about Palestine, right? Like that's kind of the way that they do things. This thumbnail here is a little bit misleading, honestly, because Destiny and H3 are what I would call center left. Vaush is like libertarian, very far libertarian left, like a libertarian socialist who would be on the green quadrant. Hasan is like arguably approaching
That's decent. Yeah, this is true. What's he about to say about Hasan? Oh no.
the red, the authoritarian left. He's a much more of a, what you would call a tanky than
Uh-oh. That works.
than the rest of these guys. So they all have very fundamental ideological disagreements between them. But I just sort of use
What? A what?
this to illustrate like
Jesus. None of these people should have any political capital at all. Not a single one of them have provided anything meaningfully politically useful or idea or philosophy or movement.
all of these people would just define themselves as some sort of leftist or liberal.
Boss, what's a tanky? Hasan isn't that bad.
And H3's case probably
No, he's not. Question mark, question mark.
now he
Question mark,
probably
question mark. No, he's not.
would
Omega law, authoritarian. Uh-oh. Authoritarian left? You don't know shit if you think Hasan is that.
just call himself like a liberal or a social democrat or
No, he isn't. Tanky? Question mark, question mark.
something. These people
Oh my god, this is like a civil war in his chat. Vaush is a one-issue voter, and his issue is legalizing sexual relationships with horses.
all hate each other. Every single one of these people hate each other. No, you can draw no positive line between any of these people. And part of this, I think, is because like when you're, I mean, being a political streamer, like man, that's
This is kind of true, except I don't think me and Ethan hate each other. I don't hate Ethan. I don't think Ethan hates me.
that seems like it's real brain rot and really.
Oh yeah,
You
the
know,
worst, probably the
forces
worst
you to be
people in
a
the
rabid
world.
dog.
If you talk about politics on stream, you are, I would say, scum. You know, that's what I would say.
I mean, I've met a lot of political streamers. I've met a lot of these people, and yeah, it's like it rots your brain, and it sort of makes you really defensive and really aggressive. And
I don't think it has to. Just to make, yeah, okay, I was
Yeah.
making a joke on myself, my own expense, but I don't think it has to. I don't think it has to rot
Yeah.
your brain. Maybe
Political streaming.
maybe I do some political streaming is what I'm saying. And my brain is rotted, so I
Okay,
guess
that's
your correlation is very strong.
Like, the issue is that just these people aren't that smart and aren't willing to do that much research. Vaush used to, although I think he's largely given up on that now unless he changed. Like, Vaush used to have like a whole ass document about, you know, where he would keep track of research and we would do debates and shit. Hasan is an idiot and he doesn't care to educate himself. He's doing something fundamentally different than politics. He wears politics as an aesthetic, but he's a slop streamer. That is what he does. But the issue is that, like, you can't even really blame these guys for doing it that way, because that's kind of what, unfortunately, Trump has turned real world politics into. Like, Trump is not like a politics guy. He's a drama slop guy. Like, listen to what he talks about every single global, you know, issue. It's all like drama slop. Like, Putin's nice. He's cool. I don't want to be mean to him. You know, these guys treat me well. I like them. I take phone calls from them. Like, it's all like drama slop. Even real life politics has become fucking drama slop.
Wrong, but I don't know that it has to become so. Okay.
Well, I'm kind of curious because I think you're the only streamer I have met so far that I like. But that's probably, I mean, you know, to be fair, I think that's probably just because every streamer I've met has been a political streamer, which is like only politics all the time, and it's very caustic. I'm curious what you do to like not rot your brain when you're talking about politics.
I skip a lot of streams. Very inactive.
I think, okay, honestly, I think it's something about doing it all day, every day, 12 hours a day. I think that's
It definitely is the hour. You know, the hours could definitely do it. You got to fill 8 hours versus 2.5 to 3. Then you have a.
I also think it's helpful that for Atrioc, I feel like Atrioc, it's like his main isn't politics. Politics is just like a sub-specialization, but his main is like, I can't even say actually, because I just don't ever watch his main channel. But it feels like he has a much broader base of things that he covers, and then politics is a thing he's been dipping into more and more, but he's not like 100% fixated on it like me or Hasan or anything else. So he avoids all of the most radical audience when it comes to politically related stuff. And then as a result of that, he avoids like of the interpersonal drama cringe shit from a lot of these, like the online politics people are just, they are like the worst people, the weirdest and worst and cringiest. Ugh.
A lot more. I don't know. I don't want to. I really, honestly, I think one of the reasons that I don't brain rot is I don't comment on everyone else. So I don't want to do that. Actually, I don't want to get into talking about anybody else. I want to talk about my own thing.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, not to like, but you know, I think the problem is the incentive structure is to do that as much as possible.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
No?
I mean,
Okay.
I would say that I think my viewership is doing pretty good, and I have never done. This is the first even toe in the water I've ever had to discussing another content creator. I don't think you have to do it that way. I think it's easy, and I think it gives you easy views quickly, but I don't think you have to do it.
Okay, I think that's wise words from what I can tell. Do you feel like you get that, or like do you have any questions?
Well,
on that?
okay, what I would get, actually, I mean, as a group, it clearly really isn't a group. It's a bunch of splinter groups. But I think what you're saying is that all these people would characterize themselves as some form of left, and they're all kind of in the middle of a holy war to be the right version of the left that dominates the online discussion.
I think so. I talked about like right-wing infighting and the purity tests on the right, and it's like it's racial and kind of like, are you a Fed? On the left, it's ideological. And so because it's ideological, there's a lot more opportunity for like very, very pure little nations to emerge that, because you have a different opinion on, say, like a geopolitical issue, or if you're like, we'll use capitalism as like a middle ground between socialism instead of just doing a communist revolution, or we want to use the state versus we want to make it more communally operated. All these things create lots of different divides in the left. And so that's probably why I would say the left is more prone to infighting, but the right still infights, and we see the right infight. And also,
maybe it's human. We just love to infight.
We love infighting, and also you just tend to see infighting when a group gets power. Because like you see like a big liberal leftist coalition right now against Trump, right? Because they both hate Trump. If the liberal leftist coalition ever won, they'd kill each other, right?
Oh, for sure. That is a good point. That is a really good point. Yeah. I do think Trump is a uniter of his opposition in a way that he's united different groups on his side. Okay. The last group, this is this is the scariest one, but also the funniest one. And this is the horseshoe. And you have pictured Thomas Crooks, who was the guy, Thomas Crooks, who attempted to assassinate Trump and had extremely confusing politics, which was that I think he...
What is this?
You're abandoned at birth, you're a person of color in America, you're a queer person in a Mormon community. Are there any other struggles you faced in life?